Edson program, we do not want to have students come into the program and play entrepreneur for a year. This is not a learning experience per se. Of course, you're going to learn a lot, but we want you to actually execute when you're in the program. So if you've got this great idea and judges and mentors and your peers and other folks are saying, yes, we agree this is a great idea, let's not stop there. Let's actually execute it. Let's do it. Let's get up in the morning. We're giving you money. We're giving you additional mentors. We're giving you resources at SkySong. Let's take those things and actually create a sustainable business that will last maybe my next couple of years in college, or if I'm getting close to graduation, this is going to be my career. I'm going to see this thing through to a successful exit, or I'm going to change the world, right? Yes. All right. So another thing you might want to address is, are you going for an economic impact? Are you out to create jobs? Are you out to create wealth for maybe yourself and other folks? There's no shame in that. We need to create jobs so that we can improve everyone's quality of life. So if that's the main thrust of your venture, if you're creating something that has value and people are willing to pay for it, tell us about that, and make no bones that you're out to create an impact in people's lives through creating value and creating jobs. Or do you want to put more of an emphasis on the social impact? Are you helping people that are in a high need area or that live endangered lives in some respect? Or do you want to change the status quo in some way through a social mission? So acknowledge that, but also be aware that you need to have a sustainable flow to keep that mission going. So acknowledge how you might keep that operation moving forward if you're not selling a product or a service flat out. So brush up. If you're thinking about social enterprises, brush up on how nonprofits work. Look at different nonprofit enterprises and see how they sustain themselves over years, decades, millennia, because many successful organizations have done just that. So those are the 5 sections of the business proposal that we're looking for, due on April 1st. Any questions about any one of those sections of the proposal? Pretty straightforward, right? When you break it down by those 5 sections and you look at each question in a very plain way, it's about answering those questions. And I bet you, if we went around this room, many of you have these answers swimming around in your head. It's just a matter of putting pen to paper or key to keyboard or fingers to keyboard and busting it out. Like I said, folks, you've got all spring break coming up in the middle of March, and then you've got the entire weekend prior to the April 1st deadline, which is a Sunday, to bust this thing out and get it submitted. I am challenging each and every one of you to submit a proposal before or on midnight on April 1st. We're shooting for 300 applications. We had 250 last year. There's 70,000 students at ASU, and all of them are problem solvers. So the fact that we only had 250 applications to this amazing program last year is, quite honestly, a little disturbing. I want to see everybody at ASU applying to this. It's not difficult, and we want to empower you to change the world, to change people's lives. So I think if you've seen what we have to offer here, you'd agree with me. Now, I passed out a sheet earlier. This is our events calendar. Again, the tab at the top of our edson.asu.edu website. If you click on calendar, you're going to see all the opportunities you have to engage with us throughout the month. So if you're sitting down writing your venture proposal and you get stuck on something, you want a little extra feedback, we are going to be on your campus throughout the entire month. If we're not on your campus at the day that you're best available, we're going to be doing online chats throughout much of the month as well. So take a look at that handout that I provided to you. Mark off on your calendar that you use to manage your life, and maybe write in certain days and times that would fit for you to come in and see us, and we'll help you with this proposal. We don't expect you to do this on your own. If you need feedback, if you just want to kind of bounce your ideas off of somebody, we're here to help you do that, okay? So more details, if you want to drill down into the details of each of these times that will be available to you, you can click on these items on our website and it'll give you exact times, exact locations, all that good stuff. So again, my name is Brent Siebel. We've got a team of students that work with us as well at the Edson program and at Venture Catalyst at SkySong and on all 4 campuses. Alex, Max, Michael, Valeria. So if you see any of them out and about tabling or doing class presentations, be sure to say hello. If you have questions, you can ask them. If you go to edson.asu.edu, you're going to click on the Apply tab, and it'll walk you through each step of the application. We're using an online platform to accept your Word document or PDF proposals. It's very easy. We're just asking you to fill out some of the basic information about your team leader, your student ID number, your email address, your phone number, the usual stuff. And then from there, you just upload that proposal and you're done. Cool? So come see us over the next couple of weeks. We'll help you put the finishing touches on your proposal. Don't slack off over spring break. Get it written, get it submitted by April 1st, and let's change the world. Any questions before we take off?
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you recommend applying, even though you might not be to the point where you're ready to make a formalized application?
Absolutely. And I think one of our students here today, Max, alluded to this, is even though you might not feel in your head you're ready to move on to advancing your venture to, some of the examples I gave of the students, they're very far along with selling products, and they have their prototypes up, they have their website up. If you don't feel like you can be there within the next year, if you put your venture concept on paper, you're going to learn so much by just going through and answering those questions that we put forward to you. And what's more is when you submit that application through the iStart platform, the judges that we bring in from all over the Phoenix area, in some cases in New York and California and across the country. In fact, one of our mentors who also served as a judge is in Holland. So we've got global folks that are going to be looking at all these proposals. And what the iStart platform allows these people to do is actually give you feedback on each of the 5 sections of your proposal, and what they can even give you written feedback about specific things that you wrote about. So they're going to ask very pointed questions to you, and that will help potentially strengthen your application for next year. So if you're a sophomore, freshman, sophomore, junior, or even a senior, and maybe have a term or 2 left, definitely apply this year, because that's only going to make it easier the following year. And we have many people in the program that apply during their last term, and they get the funding, and this becomes their year in the Edson program becomes much like if you wanted to go off and do city year or do a study abroad after you graduate. It gives you a really cool opportunity to solve problems after you graduate, immediately after you graduate. So if you can aspire to get that funding by your senior year, go for it. What an amazing experience right after you graduate from ASU to be in the Edson program for a year, and then whether your venture makes a huge impact or you learn from the process of doing a minimal viable product and getting customer feedback, you're then a much more, in some cases, employable person. If you wanted to go the straight and narrow corporate route, which we don't encourage, but certainly would help. So long answer to a short question, definitely apply, even though you might not have all those questions perfectly ironed out. So you're going to apply.
Of course. About how many people did accept that application?
So last year we had 250 applications come in. Of those 250, there was probably about 100 that weren't, they obviously didn't answer all those questions. If you answer in earnest each of those questions in each of the 5 sections, you're going to be in the running. But some applicants just didn't do that. They didn't really put enough thought into each of those questions. So of the 250 applicants, we funded 26 companies. So all told, it was about 10%. But of the 250, there was actually about 150 or so that were legitimate, that really stood a real solid chance at getting funding. So I would wager between 10 and 25% a chance of getting funding. We're probably targeting, this year we might not fund 26 companies again. It could be somewhere in the ballpark of 15 to 25, maybe settling in somewhere in the 20 mark. Because again, we're looking for impact. We're looking for teams that can actually execute. And we want to be in a position to help them do that. So there's no guarantee on the number of companies we'll fund. Great question, though.
Also, once you select, I guess, the people that are close, your final runners, is there any sort of presentations they give, like the other competitions?
Great question. Absolutely, yes. So what will happen is those 250 applications will actually get narrowed down to 50. And from there, actually Warren and Charlene Edson, the benefactors of this program, are still very much involved in selecting the final students to get into the program. From there, we'll actually identify somewhere in the ballpark of 30 to 40 of the best proposals to come in and pitch at SkySong in front of a panel of judges, most likely to include Mr. and Mrs. Edson, in mid-May. So after you finish up your finals, well, first you apply to the Edson program by April 1st, finish up the school year with your finals, and then at that point you'd be notified that you're a finalist to come in and pitch mid-May. So hopefully you're not too far abroad this summer, and if you are selected as a finalist, you'd come in or have one of your teammates come in and pitch, and then from there we'd select 20 to 25 out of that group. Great question. Thank you so much. I failed to address that. Any other questions? Well, you all look very sharp. I love you all. It's been a great session.
Much love.
Much love to you. So again, think about putting your ideas on paper and apply by April 1st.
So you're going to be teaching more classes, right?
Yes.
Like really, you're going to, like we used to do in class, never see a like that's not true, right?
No. Coming back.